On this episode of the OverArch Podcast, I'm joined by Dr. Ciera Fox, a naturopathic doctor whose journey began with countless jobs, becoming a young mother, and eventually discovering a path she didn't even know existed. Her story is about resilience, self-discovery, and building a life and career on her own terms. Here's our conversation.
You are listening to OverArch.
Ciera, thanks for being here on the OverArch Podcast. We're getting right into it.
Okay, let's do it.
So just a really brief overview. This podcast, and I say this to everybody at the beginning, is we're going to take a sort of a little bit of a journey and your sort of life up to this point.
Okay.
You've got a fascinating story. So I had you write out a questionnaire, and when it came back, I had to do some studying to figure out, okay, this might be a two-parter.
Okay, very good. It's like, was it my typos or was it the story?
No, it was the story. It's quite fascinating. So just to start it off, can you give us just a brief overview or a summary, you can talk as long as you want, about what you're doing today as a career and where you are in your life and just sort of what your profession is?
Okay. Oh, that's a lot of things. Yeah, so I am a naturopathic doctor. I've been practicing for about 7.5 years. Before I started my academic journey, I had my little girl, Autumn, who is now 17. So I actually started down the road of university when she was 1. So she's kind of been with me through the whole time. So,
oh, very cool.
Yeah, that's kind of like the path that I took. I was going back to school actually to be a teacher.
Okay.
Fell in love with anatomy and physiology, and then here we are.
Okay, so in your life right now, yes, here we are. What is your role? What is as your career move? Like, what do you study, or how do you help patients? Give me an overview of that.
Yeah, so
I don't know anything.
Yeah, okay. What is naturopathic medicine? Maybe
Yes,
that's
let's
the
start
question.
with that. Yes.
So I could give you like my spiel that I give to my patients when they come into my office, because often they don't even know what I do. They just know that they need help.
Okay.
So often, unfortunately, they're coming in to see me saying, I spoke with my medical doctor and they're telling me everything is fine. So insert me, they got a referral from someone else who saw me. So when I ask, do you kind of know what I do? And they're like, not really. I usually say I compare myself to a regular medical doctor so they can kind of see similarities and differences. Okay. So our academics, as far as medical school, is actually quite similar in that we're learning foundational biomedical sciences, lab and diagnostics, all the things that we need to do to assess, take proper history, et cetera. Where we start to veer off from the regular system is how we view our patients and then the treatment modalities that we're focusing on in our practice.
Okay.
So we view patients a lot more holistically. So we're looking at the mental, emotional, and physical body and finding connections and knowing that if your mental health isn't good, your physical health will not be good and vice versa. Or if you work on your mental health, your physical health will be better. So that's like an example of that. But not only that, looking connections between body systems. So if you come in to see me for a digestive concern, I'm not just looking at digestion. I'm looking at your thyroid. I'm looking at mental health and a lot of other things because digestion isn't always a digestive issue. So you kind of have to look at the whole picture.
Oh, good. Yeah, you should.
Right.
You should, for sure.
Yeah. And then the other part is as far as our modalities go.
Yeah.
So we do focus on things that are more natural, less invasive, that tend to have little to no side effects, that really stimulate the body's ability to heal itself versus a general practitioner would be using things like pharmaceuticals or referring out for surgery, right?
Yes.
Which is not wrong. It's not bad. We need those things, which is why actually there's crossover in that I can prescribe medications as well. So if we need to use those things, we can. Yeah. Which is great.
I think from a patient's perspective, we see all those commercials about the great things this will do, but holy cow, those side effects.
Right.
Like, my God. So it's kind of a trade-off. Like, I won't go into detail about the side effects, but we all know them.
100%.
And it's something where it's nice to have an alternative to that because that scares the heck out of me. I'd rather just live with my illness than go through those side effects half the time.
100%. And with what we're doing, it's not to say that everything is perfect and there's no side effects, but if there's a way to support the body in a different way that's not going to have that, then why wouldn't you? Yeah. But also, like, I want people to know that we will use that tool if we have to, because sometimes it's needed. So it's necessary. And I think that's where a lot of people get naturopathic medicine wrong. They think of us as like these woo-woo anti-medication pharmaceuticals, which it's just not the case.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. But
Yeah.
at the beginning, you're thinking, is it crystal based? Is it,
Yeah.
is there incense burning?
Totally.
Which are all
What
good.
happens when I go into your office?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
So that's quite it's quite a discipline, quite a focus. That's a lot of knowledge. This isn't something I don't think you, as a young, well, maybe young kid, you might want to be a doctor, but this is an intense course load. So what I want to do now is let's go back sort of as a young person.
Yeah.
How did you get to this point? So what was your first job?
Oh my gosh. I think I worked at Sport Check in the Cottonwood Mall.
Okay. Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So we're in Chilliwack, British Columbia. I think
Yeah.
you'll be episode 8.
Mhm.
This should come out in April. So
Yeah.
by that time, I think people get the idea we're in Chilliwack, British
Yeah,
Columbia.
totally.
But I mean, this is a worldwide web, so maybe people in other countries might hear it. But Chilliwack, British Columbia
Totally.
is where we're filming. So you said, it says here, so I did have some notes because this is not something you can just sit down with. You said you had 100 jobs. What was going on during that time? Is that the same period? Like you started at Sport Check or?
Oh yeah, I kicked it off. Honestly, it's not that I got fired from jobs. I would get bored. I didn't even know I was getting bored, but essentially looking back, I recognize that, but I would just bounce from, Sport Check to McDonald's to Importance to Panago to fish and chip place to, it was just constantly every 6 months. That would be like my longest stretch probably.
Okay. Do you want to bring up, so we had a really good, there's so much we're going to sort of interject into this conversation because you are also doing a podcast. We also did a podcast on you were diagnosed with ADHD.
I knew where this was going.
Yeah, I know. We're kind of going. People may ask themselves like, okay, wow, that's a lot of jobs to have. So there was probably a reason for that, correct?
100%.
And looking back, you realize, no doubt.
Yeah.
So it was the boredom,
Yeah, you just once you learn, like master a skill, which in fast food, not hard. For me, punching the same button, right? So as soon as I was just like, okay, it just became way too monotonous. But I didn't know that's what my brain was doing.
Yeah,
but that was, and so back then I was known to just be like very flaky, non-committal. Like my parents just didn't believe that I would ever do anything because they saw this like revolving pattern. They're like, how is she ever gonna get by when she can't hold down a job? So yeah.
Oh my goodness. As a parent, you can feel for them now, especially if you have a daughter. You're like, you just want them to do well and just get out of the house eventually.
Totally.
Is Ciera going to be living with us forever?
Yeah. It took until I got pregnant to get out of the house. To be honest, that was the push.
That's fair. So how many of those jobs do you think you had? Like, was it literally 100? So your first job, how old were you in your first job?
Gosh, I would have been probably 14. I think that was the age at grade 10. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. I think now it's 16, I think. Is that
no, it was 4. I think back in the day you could work at 14, 15. It was around that age.
What's back in the day, like 5 years ago for you?
Oh my gosh. I graduated 203, so 2003. So that would have been 2000 probably when I got my first job. Yeah. 25 years later. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it's going by quick.
I mean, I've had, realistically, like if I think about it, more than 25 jobs. Or between 25 and 50, I want to say. It sounds like odd, but that's a real thing.
Holy cow. And how between how many years?
Jobs? Oh, well, I guess it would have been between now and when now and then. Like university, I had some jobs too, like when I was in university. And even when I was in med school, I think I did little things here or there to like help. So all things combined, yeah, for sure.
You want to go? Do you know them off the top? Like, so you had.
Oh my gosh, there's so many. I know that there's some. I have a friend named Dana who she ran the YMCA program back then.
Yeah.
I got an interview with her. We weren't friends at the time.
Yeah.
I just never showed up. I just didn't. So late. No, insert. We're friends. She actually plays squash with the squash league.
Yeah.
She's like, do you remember like getting an interview with me and just no showing me? I was like, no. But that's what happened.
But it all makes sense now, right?
Yeah, it all makes sense. Yeah. So there's a lot. I worked like at UFE. I did something called, because I actually excelled. This is where I figured out how to use my brain and like gear my attention towards something I was interested in. So once I figured out that I really loved anatomy and physiology, I actually then worked in a support group for people who struggled in that course.
Oh, that's cool.
So then it wasn't like tutoring, but it was kind of group tutoring for that university course.
Okay, let's unpack that a little bit because that's kind of cool. You're going through your regular jobs, not 9 to 5s. These are boring.
Yeah.
So how did that come about?
So I just did really, really well in anatomy and physiology at UFE. That course was called, I
Okay.
think it was like, I don't know, Anatomy 101 or
Okay.
something.
So through after high school, then
Yeah.
so you had the jobs, the summer times.
So many things.
Yeah.
And I actually worked for my dad as a painter. So that's what I was doing right before.
Okay.
So I was
Okay.
crew lead working for my dad's company, doing that, got pregnant, had my daughter, realized that I couldn't paint anymore. I needed
Yes.
to do more for her. But
Yeah.
to be honest, due to the ADHD, due to my like flakiness and self-perception, or
Yeah.
even how people perceive me, I didn't have the confidence to try
Yeah. Okay.
to do anything more. But she was the kind of thing that pushed me over me. Like,
Okay.
you need to do
Yeah.
something because now you have a child.
So when you became a mother,
Yes.
you had a lot of, what was that like? So self-reflection, or just realizing, okay, I have to look after like the future of this child.
I think
What was that moment like?
I think it was just, I wanted the best for her, and I didn't want her, no offense to my parents, but to have the same cycles and the same life patterns as myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just very determined that if I'm going to like do this and have this child in this world, that I was going to offer something different.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a life-changing moment.
100%.
Becoming a mom.
So I always say, like, people say, how did you end up doing this? And
Yeah.
it really comes down to having my daughter, and she was the motivation. If I didn't have her, I doubt that I would have.
Wow.
Yeah, it was that. Yeah. So, and then once I got into it, it was just, again, taught me how to channel my energy in a way that like was focused, and that I could learning. It's like new, everything's new all the time.
that's so cool.
New information. So you're not getting bored because there's constantly change.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then what was that like when did you have a self-reflection, like, hey, this is working for me, or did you just sort of go through the process for a few months and then look back and realize, oh, this is what I like? Or what was that self-discovery like for you?
I don't even know, because now I can look back knowing that I have the diagnosis, because to be clear to everybody, I just got this diagnosis a year ago,
Okay.
which you always know you're different, but you don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But back then, I wasn't trying to label it. All I knew is that was the first time I'd ever committed to anything and felt really passionate and strongly towards it, because it was something that really interested me, but I hadn't found that yet. So I just kind of went with it. Okay. So one thing rolled to the next thing, rolled to the next.
So that's interesting. So on this, for OverArch, as we talk about our careers, so you're at school, was it something like, oh, I'm now a mother, I got to become a doctor?
No, I was gonna
take me through that process as you're in school, because I'm hoping there's a lot of young people listening to this and realize like they're in the same boat, and we have daughters that are about to go into this same boat.
Totally.
So what's let's sit here for a little bit and tell me what that was like. You know, you're enjoying it.
Yes.
We have like, okay, I'm good at this.
Mm-hmm.
So what was that process like, figuring out, okay,
like how, well, I entered thinking actually that I was going to be like a PE/history teacher in high school.
Yes.
So I had an intention. That's why I entered into the kinesiology program, because obviously the physical education piece of it.
Yep.
So that's what kicked it off. And honestly, that was rooted in me having such a positive experience in high school. I wasn't a mean kid, but I wasn't a kid that attended a lot of school. My teachers really loved me, and they wanted to see me do a really good job.
That's awesome.
They saw that there was potential where I was a bit lost, and obviously with ADHD, like not doing the right things, making the right choices, going to the class, but they saw the potential, and they just kept pushing me and encouraging me. Like McDowell, he's a pretty famous grade 11, grade 12 teacher back in our day at Sardis. And I felt like I was dumb, and I didn't understand how to write or do English. I always struggled, again, probably because of the ADHD and focus. Yeah. But he was like, no, like you're actually a really good writer and you can do this. So there was a lot of inspiration from him and my history social teacher, Mr. Servatius. For whatever reason, again, like to these guys, they're still in the system, I think, teaching possibly.
I think so. Yeah.
So they were just, no matter what, if I didn't show up and then I came back, they were just so awesome towards me. And I was someone who had a rough kind of home life in a way. Yeah. And so having that belief in me and being like, you know what, you would actually really do good in university.
That is so cool.
I was just like to them, I'm like, what do you mean? Like, why do you say that?
Yeah,
like,
what are you seeing that I'm not seeing?
Yeah, I did not get it. It wasn't until I went and I was like, well, they obviously knew something that I didn't know, because that's what I needed to do. And
plus they're teachers, like they get it, right? They've seen a few students come in. But isn't it cool how teachers, how important they are, right? Just to have
100%.
that moment to
Yeah.
just to give that little push and just that little nudge.
Totally.
I spoke with a friend of mine, and he had a situation where the teacher actually said maybe, yeah, math isn't your thing, but he thought, but I want to be an engineer, and he just went for it. So
Yeah.
sometimes, but his parents helped him sort of guide him along there. So it's kind of a balance,
Totally.
right? But when you get that teacher that's magical, in high school,
Yeah.
I loved chemistry because my teacher was the chemistry teacher.
Yeah.
The gray suit and the chalk every day. I went into chemistry at UBC. I'm not a chemist, but I loved chemistry because of him.
Yes.
So in that process, being a teacher would be pretty cool.
100%. So that going back to
Yeah,
that
please.
was that I wanted to be able to do what they did for me for other kids, like kids who maybe don't have the support at home. They
Oh,
don't
that's
have
cool,
the
Ciera.
encouragement.
That's awesome.
They don't have that like structure at
Yeah.
home that like, that healthy environment where if I could be that person in a small way in that environment, I wanted to give back and do that. So that was kind of the motivation there.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well, but that didn't
I
happen.
know. I know. Shocker.
So how was school like when you're in school, you're taking the classes? How many years were you there? Like there must have been a thought. Well, when did you not want to become a teacher? Maybe.
Yeah, so I still finished in the right amount of time. So it was 4 years I got my degree. So I got her done because I was a mom, right? Like I wasn't there, there was a mission in place. So sometimes I didn't do full course. Like I would do 4 courses instead of 5, but then I would do the summer semester. So I still did it in the right amount of time. But
Were you working at the same time?
a little bit, yeah. So
Okay.
another one of the jobs I worked doing ticket sales for like the basketball games at UFE. So I did that, just like little things here and there.
Okay.
And then did that group at UFE too. So there was always like
Wow.
something. Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You've lived a life just up into your 20s that most people don't.
I know. I had to hustle. Like I was living off student loans. I had no extra support. Like this is all like debt I was acquiring, and I just needed to do whatever I could to make all
So where
the
do you think
pieces.
you got that fire and just let's go attitude?
Yeah, it's funny. My partner asked me this like 2 days ago. He's like, how did this? And it really, again, it goes back to, I mean, I'm fiery. I'm an Aries. I have red hair. Like that's something.
Yeah,
But like the motivation and all that, it really does go back to Autumn and my responsibility to her. So I'll always circle back to that. Cause again, and now, I mean, I've done enough work on myself to have the confidence to know and do and all that. But back then I was just a different person.
Yeah.
So Autumn brought like a different confidence
That's
to
incredible.
me. Yeah. Cause as a mom, I was like, I found confidence there, but I
Yeah.
didn't have it for myself. Yeah.
That's its own topic, I think.
Right.
Becoming the mom, like that transition.
Yeah.
I don't OverArch could be talking about maybe in the future.
Yeah,
I think I
sure.
want to do some spin-offs and go like, okay, what is AI doing? What's it like to be a mom? But it is fascinating. I mean, to become a father, you do realize you're here to set up someone else's future. You know, you just want to make sure, and then you pass on the baton, and then here you go. Now you
Totally.
take it. So I do feel that, the chapters changed. Love it. It's raising a teenager is not easy.
No.
At all.
That's
but
the harder part, I would say. The younger
is.
years for me were like easy.
Yeah.
These are the more challenging
So
times.
you were young even with the teenage going. Well, your daughter's a teenager now, right?
Yeah,
So,
she's turning 18 in April.
okay.
Yeah.
But it does get better when they become little adults. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's rewarding.
It is rewarding. But
Yes.
the work up to that point is
Yeah.
the terrible twos, the 5. Anyways,
Yeah.
I digress.
Yeah.
So you're in school, 4 years. You did graduate with that degree. What did you graduate with at
So
UFE?
yeah, I graduated with a degree in kin. I didn't minor anything.
Okay.
But I did graduate on the dean's list, which is
That's awesome.
something great too. I
Holy
was just
cow,
like,
Ciera.
right. Yeah. I was like this. I went from getting just not doing
okay.
good at all in high school to that. So it just goes to show you, if you find your thing, if you find your passion, if you find like actually what, going back to like ADHDers out there and stuff, I think that a lot of them have a lot of us have a lot of negative self-perception and confidence issues. And sometimes you just need to find what clicks with you to like channel your energy in a way that can be, I would say, constructive, because if left unchecked, it can be rather destructive to yourself personally and to your environment around you. And I was able to do that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, I've known you for a little bit now. Because we'll bring that up at the end here. You're also a podcast host with Amanda, and Amanda will be on here in a few weeks.
Yep.
Her Body in Mind, which is out now.
Yep.
actually. So we'll follow up with that, and we'll collaborate with that. It's been amazing getting to know you guys and figure out what your topics are. I've been learning a ton about women's health.
You sure have.
And wow, no, it's been, I know it's a bit of a side here, but it's been quite amazing because I mean, with my wife and our age right now, it just makes so much sense.
Yes.
And it just allows me to just be way more patient and kind of like smile about it and laugh about it and kind of go, hey, you forget things. Perimenopause is real. And when you finally understand that, and the things that are just regular around the house, like missing things. And I told you that already.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking
You're
about?
like, why? The reason you understand the why now. You're
100%,
why this is happening.
And it just makes your relationship so much better. You're just more at
100%.
ease. So I
100%.
think for the men out there, listen to this podcast.
Yes.
And in the description, we'll collaborate and I'll get it out there as well. So
Totally.
this is launching. Well, this is already launched, but right now I'm just banking episodes as we go forward.
Yep.
So now you've graduated.
Yep.
Now you're a teacher. Wait, you're not. What was that?
Yeah. So what happened there? So going back to the anatomy and physiology class and just like that whole world, more the science side, I wanted to find a way to use that information in a more regular basis and wanted to find a way to integrate it in a different way. And so actually I was pre-med, so I was going to become a medical doctor. So I started.
So during at UFV,
Yeah,
so while you're
UFV.
taking your 4 years, you're still also doing pre-med?
I'm switching gears. Yeah. So I started doing, and I actually, because in high school, I was a bad girl. And I, not bad, but like I needed to upgrade. So I needed to upgrade my chemistry. I needed to upgrade my biology. So I did start taking all those courses as my not electives, my minor, I guess. I was more minoring in like the science side of things for the prereqs for med school, which the
smart.
prereqs for naturopathic medical school are the same as like UBC med. So you have to have all the chemistry, OChem, all that.
Okay.
So I was doing that. And then I started volunteering at Abbey Regional Hospital to get experience, right? That's what all us pre-med people do. You go, you volunteer, you do the things, whatever.
Yeah.
And so I did that for 2 years. And it was in my 4th year of university. I realized I was like, I don't think I can do it. Call me. And then I'm like, am I being flaky? Like, is this me being flaky? Right? You just start thinking like that. But really the system, it didn't jive with me, how patients were being treated, the lack of patient contact that doctors got. And then it was just like quick. And going back to my story, I'm really about relationship.
Yeah.
Right? And
It's all making
connection.
sense. Yeah, it's all making sense.
Yeah.
So that, so taking that volunteering was key.
100%. Getting into the field that you think you want to go into and getting a taste of that world is super important to make sure that you're doing the right thing.
Were you panicking a little bit? Like, holy crap.
I was like, I thought maybe I'll become a chiropractor because that kind of applied to like my degree. Like, but everyone and their dog was, no offense to chiropractors.
No.
But like everybody around me was kind of doing it. Not that that means anything, but I was just kind of doing it because everyone else was or thinking of it or considering it because all of my peers at university were doing it. It just made sense in that way. But it didn't sit right with me. And then oddly, one of my closest friends still now, Carissa, she was actually thinking about getting into naturopathic medicine. I had never heard of it.
Yeah.
And I'm now, how old would I be? 27, 28, something like that. She wanted to go to New West to Boucher Institute of Naturopathic Medicine to do kind of like a grand rounds for potential students that want to learn about the school and figure out if it made sense.
Can I ask you just that conversation when she sort of said, hey, have you thought about this? What was your first initial like thought or how did that come up?
No, I was just supporting her. I was like, oh, I'll come for the ride.
Oh, cool. Okay.
I wasn't going for me.
I
was just going with her.
Being a friend.
I was just being a friend. That's it. Like, no, that was it. We just like went down there.
So here's a moment. I love these moments because it's like I had this just slapped me upside the head. I had no idea. And look who you are now. And it's just that one moment where you're like, you know what? I will go to that. Or I will get up for this.
So
or I'll just
random.
the fact that you put yourself out there, very random.
Yeah.
But you found a passion here. So as you're driving, checking it out. Tell me through that process. At first, you're just getting coffee and whatever.
Yeah. So we're doing like there's in their clinic because they have like a teaching clinic where the doctors and then the students kind of see patients in. So there was just like a different room and in each room there was a doctor just sharing information about different modalities that they would use. And then at the end they handed us a brochure and it just went over like the basics about the school. And then on the back was the naturopathic principles. And I was just like reading them. I was like, oh, I was like, that's kind of like, that's
Oh,
what
yeah.
I believe.
Oh, that's
I
so cool.
believe in this.
Oh my
This
goodness.
is like, this makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a brochure.
So but that's really
At
cool though,
the
because
school. Yeah.
you go into a building, you're going to hear some stuff, and then you
Yeah.
leave going, oh my goodness, I have
Yeah.
a path. Like I mean, what was that? 2 hours of your life, kind of where that transition may have happened.
Totally.
Yeah, it's wild.
It is wild. So I still had to get OChem. So I now like almost graduated. So I had to do OChem distance ed after I got my degree to
Okay.
get the final prereq. So I took
What is OChem? Organic chemistry.
organic is the worst class ever.
It is the worst class ever. Organic chemistry
Yes.
at UBC.
You would have done it.
I did it twice.
Yes.
I did it
Okay.
twice.
So I did it once, but it was terrible. I think I got like 65%.
Yeah, I loved it so much that
Yeah.
I failed my first year. It is the weed or out class though. That class determines if you're going to be in university.
So
or not.
I will say this is that's what most people, the barrier to whether it's becoming a doctor or naturopathic doctor, that's kind of what separates you from the other guys
I
for
believe
sure.
I believe it. That and Math 100 is
Yeah.
So if anyone's in their career in university, those weed you out.
Yep.
Those make you cry.
Yep.
They make you sweat. They make you lose hair.
Yep.
All of the above. But if you can get through those ones, the third and the fourth years are fantastic because you're really focused and love it. But that
Totally.
first year it's a big gate.
Yeah, 100%.
If you want in, you
Yeah.
got to do this.
You gotta
It's
do it.
awful.
Yeah.
So, what was the conversation like in the car after that event? Did you remember a little bit or?
I don't remember it. It's just these little like clips like that, like the
Yeah.
brochure of the moment, all that. And then my girlfriend who, she was the one that was looking into it. She actually never ended up going.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So it's just like the universe is weird and works in weird ways. And so insert me going. And that's just, the course. I kind of just was fixated on that after. And there was just like no question in my mind.
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you got more schooling to do. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Okay. So you just finished your 4-year.
Yep.
And then what was the schooling like for this that you had to go into?
It was brutal. Another 4 years. If I would have
Wow.
understood, oh gosh, it's good that I didn't understood like the journey I was about to enter into because it wasn't like university. This is like a next level, so intense. And I mean, me and my daughter had to move to New West.
Yeah.
I had to sell my car because I had no money and I needed it to pay the tuition. So it was me and my daughter walking around New West, like no family support.
Oh my goodness, Ciera.
No, it was
Holy
crazy.
cow.
But again, like this is like, I believed in it so much. I was like, I just put my head down. I was like, this is what we're doing. And we did it.
Incredible.
Yeah.
You're you're on a
Yeah.
mission. Like, get out of my way. This is what's
Totally.
happening.
Yeah.
Good
that's
for
what
you.
happened. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So I'm kind of excited. I'm looking at these questions going, what do I ask next? So you got the tuition, you're in New West. What was that like then? I guess there's obviously with raising a daughter, being a mom, how was that balance with school and whatnot? Was it a blur?
I mean, it was very routine. I would say that,
Okay.
like very structured in that, get up, I would get up at 4, study until I had to get her up and at probably 6:37.
Okay.
And then walk her to her daycare that would then walk her to her school because their school in the city, it's like city life. It doesn't start till like 9 a.m.
Okay.
Everything's really late out there.
Yeah.
So I'd have to bring her to her daycare. They would take her to school and then I'd go to school till 4:30, walk to go get her from her daycare. We would do the dinner and the bath. She would go to bed and then I would study till probably 10:30, 11 and then we'd repeat it.
Okay.
It was just the same.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Every day.
You're kind of robotic. And, yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. I mean,
Yep.
you can't really have too much deviation from that.
No.
How old was she at the time then?
She
Like
would have been
Grade kindergarten 1, 2?
Yeah, she would have
Okay.
been grade. Yeah, she started grade 1, partway through grade 1 out there, or kindergarten. No, kindergarten.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did half her kindergarten at Promontory Elementary and then started out there.
Okay.
Yep.
Kind of fun at that age too because they love their friends, right? They're just going to play.
Yeah, totally.
So it's not
Yeah.
it's not too bad.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're in school. I mean that process. I mean you're just studying. We could talk about the topics in the studying, but let's just assume 4
Yeah.
years of hardcore education. So
Yeah, it
you've been in
was.
school now for 8 years.
Yep.
Graduation. What was that like?
Yeah, graduation. Oh my gosh. It was exciting. I think that, you grad, but then you still have to go through your board exams. So
Okay,
it's like
yeah.
this, like, June, you're doing the cap thing, you're doing the gown, but you're like still then have to go and like bust and like do 2 different sets. So the provincial exams and then
Okay.
you have like your national exams. And everybody in the States and the Canada, they kind of sit down at the same time and write nationals because it's the same for everybody.
Oh wow.
But then you have to pass your provincials as well, which is, as you know, each province is governed like healthcare wise
Okay, yeah.
individually. So they have their own set of standards. So
Okay.
then you have to pass those and hope that you do. So then you can start your career. It takes about, I mean, from when you put that cap on to then when you can, the earliest you can start, it's about a 6-month process.
Okay.
So there's exams and there's like the fear of failing, and then you pass and then you're burnt out and then you start your career.
And that's our show, everybody.
Yeah.
So, okay, what that time upon graduation though, like, are you waiting? Oh, there's my job over there. Is there any anxiety? Like, where am I going to work? Or what's that feel like? You know, you've got the degree, you've got the education, and all of a sudden I need to now make
Find a
money
place. Yeah.
you mentioned student loan?
Yeah. So
So pay that off and all,
yeah. Pay your over $200,000 in debt off.
And real life. Holy cow.
Which is a lot, right? I think a lot of the students that I went to school with, they did have like extra support. Not everybody, but that was more common than not. But I was lucky in my second or third year of naturopathic medical school. I had a naturopathic doctor from Chilliwack reach out to me.
Good.
Where she was trying to establish kind of recruiting more naturopathic doctors into the space she was working out of. And so I was one of those people.
Okay.
So I kind of knew that I had a place to land, which was reassuring, especially in a smaller, I don't want to say smaller town, but like compared to Vancouver, like naturopathic medicine and clinics, they're everywhere. They're set up properly. Chilliwack, there was at the time 2 options.
Oh, wow.
And that's it. Otherwise, you'd be starting up your whole thing by yourself, more debt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was lucky that I had a place to go and it was already kind of there for me. So I could start and it was relatively smooth in that way. It's not like you have patients right away. You still have to hustle and build your practice up. It's not like a GP where they walk in and there's just like, there's a wait list and you're just filled.
Yeah.
You do have to build a name for yourself. And that's a whole thing. You're now working a new job plus like marketing yourself.
Business owner.
You
like
got it.
Yeah, it's intense. Wow. Did they, okay, in school, they have a business class for you guys?
I mean, kind of.
Yeah.
Not really.
Do you think it would have helped?
They kind of say like you got to get out in some community and do talks, which I did do, but there's no one warns you about the business back end. Actually, I'll say no to that. That's a hard no because I had no idea. Like you're not just a doctor, you have to chart and do those things, but the actual business side is wild.
Yeah, it is wild. I mean, that's life. Business is life. You have the transactions, you have the invoicing, you have the marketing, the getting the clients, retention. Oh, it's a whole other study.
Yeah.
I mean, you could go and get your master's in that. Just
totally.
That alone.
And I think that for us, that's where a lot of doctors, it's not that they're not good. It's just that they don't have the strategy or to figure that piece out, which can be detrimental.
Especially nowadays, you've got to sort of put yourself out there. You are who people see.
100%.
Right. And if you're just there to, obviously you're maybe a really good caregiver.
Yeah.
But it's this other side of things to get the retention, get the trust, know your clients, patients.
Yeah.
But yeah. Bedside manner, things like that. It's very important.
Just the personability of it.
Yeah.
Because when it's like from
Well
my
said.
practice,
That's
yes,
the word.
it is. It's when it's a pay out of pocket service, which for someone to see me, it's either pay out of pocket or you use your extended healthcare.
Yeah.
So you're picking who you're going to spend your money on.
Okay.
So it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Right. If you don't jive, then that's not good.
Yeah.
So it does come down to just that, like someone feeling comfortable with you and being able to share what they need to share. But if they don't, then that's that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you loaded up the car, drove to Chilliwack.
Loaded up the car. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you have enough to just in one car? Did you have a U-Haul?
You're talking about coming back.
Coming
from
back
the
to because it sounds like after you graduated, you sort of had a destination in mind.
There's like a fun little blip here. So
here we go.
We actually, it's more to the story.
Oh, okay. I'm sitting back.
It's so funny. Yeah. I actually had to stop going to school after 6 months because I ran out of money. So then I had to move back to Chilliwack, get a job to prove to the bank that I had a job to get a loan to then pay for school. This is how the loan. Okay, so that happened. So I had to take 9 months off to prove to the bank that I had a job so they would fund the rest of my education.
Awesome.
So that sorted out. So we went back. And then after I had finished my second year, so I'm halfway in, my daughter she just wasn't doing as well out in New West. She wasn't thriving. So we moved back and then I commuted for the last 2 years to New West.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's determination.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing now.
So I was already back. The car was packed back in Chilliwack.
Perfect. But you're problem solving, right? That's the key
You got
here.
it,
So
yeah.
anyone listening, you got to realize you got to problem solve
100%. Yeah.
all the time.
All the time.
Okay, well that's cool. But
Yeah.
you got the job in Chilliwack, proved to the bank, okay, get the loan, go back to school.
Did
I mean,
it.
because I mean, in the end, I agree with you 100%. Like investing in yourself, you can't go wrong.
No.
Right? Educating yourself, the number one thing.
It's
I think.
freaky for a lot of people, but I just knew like that would be the thing. It would be versus had I never gone to school at all, continued painting, become a teacher, fabulous career, nothing wrong with that, and still like great. You don't have to go into as much debt, so it would have been fine.
Yeah.
But this was what it was. But I knew that would be okay.
But it sounds like you had a passion. Like this was something you really wanted to do.
Helping people. And then selfishly, like that's actually what I like to learn about. And, so it was a good combination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, some people would say this is way too much money. I'm just going to work here and then.
It freaks people out.
Yeah, absolutely would. Coming out of debt that much?
I know.
Oh my goodness.
Right. That's an ADHD thing, kind of. You're just like risk takers.
Is it? Yeah.
Oh, dopamine, 100%. Whether it's like good or bad, it's like, it gives you like that a bit of 100%.
Wow.
Yeah. You're just like, it's kind of exciting, but it keeps you going. Right? It keeps you like, I've got to do it. I've got to make sure that it's okay. Yeah, it's part of it. For sure.
I'm just going to sit on that for a little bit and think about it.
If you think about my story and you think like, well, most people wouldn't do that. Why did she do that? Like, why is she so
maybe
crazy?
This isn't a mentoring podcast right now. No, I think it's great. It's all life stories, right?
Right. But you think of like guys with ADHD, they go and like drive motorbikes and like go up and down and like launch themselves off hills. They're known to do more extreme things.
Because I have
like
no
that.
desire to do that. And I never did.
Right. Okay.
Never.
No desire.
Yeah.
But I think this is like my version of that.
Okay.
Probably.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you're still problem solving though.
Yeah.
I'm still impressed.
Okay.
No, I'm impressed for sure. I mean, because once you get to know yourself and the tools you're working with, and you just accept yourself, and you just, hey, we're in this. Let's do this journey, right? And I think that's fantastic. It's nice to have the diagnosis too, because you can go, oh, okay, this makes it's not. It's a normal thing. With
100%.
This, right?
You can make more make sense.
Make more make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just to take a sigh of relief.
Yep.
So when you got to Chilliwack then and you sort of started your career, were you already sort of established in the community, or what was your first sort of like, okay, here I am, I put all my binders up there, I'm in my office looking around going, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, do you want to?
Yeah. How do you go about building your practice?
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. So I linked up with a group called Restorative Health, and a year and a bit before that, actually, Amanda.
Mm-hmm.
So she and I have been best friends since grade 7. You knew this from listening and producing our podcast.
And everyone in the audience will know that by listening to the podcast.
Yes, 100%. So like I said, I already kind of had this set up with Restorative Health. So Amanda was working for Ann Davis at the time.
Okay.
So working with women who had been or were in domestic violence situations.
Is Ann Davis, what is Ann Davis?
Non-for-profit in Chilliwack.
Okay.
Yeah. So she was working there just hourly wage and was humming hawing like, should I do private practice? Should I not? And so I was like, you really should just go talk to Restorative Health, talk to Sean, the owner. You should start your private practice. So she had a meeting with him and then decided that she was going to kind of take the jump. So when I finally finished school, Amanda was there already. So that was nice.
Yes.
So Amanda and I got to share a wall. And then what we did when I started is we did set up like a series of community events and talks. So we went to different businesses. They would like advertise it. We had people coming in. So I definitely you would call it like the door knocking of our industry.
So it sounds like entrepreneurism is part of this as well.
100%.
Yeah,
it just is. So that was like part of the hustle. So there was that. And two, like, cause I've been raised in Chilliwack, I had a community here. So that does help as soon as people know like, okay, she's done. I knew about this. So that was helpful. And then Restorative was like an established multidisciplinary clinic. So all things combined, but still it was, slow to build. And then unfortunately a year and a half in, when you're like, okay, I've got some momentum. My books are getting pretty filled up, not as big of gaps. Then COVID hit.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So that was pretty devastating.
With other guests too, there's a recurring theme of this COVID thing that happened. I forget. Yeah. And life that was an interesting one. So you couldn't see, could you even see anybody? How did that work?
Not for 2 months. So we were completely shut down for being in office for 2 months.
Yeah.
It took a little while to figure out like the virtual side. No one did virtual.
Yeah, I was
really
going to
then.
ask you about the virtual. Yeah.
It wasn't like COVID established the fact that virtual medicine could really exist. That's if there was something good that came out of that from our world was that you can do some things, not everything, but some things virtually. And so that's where we did that. And then another job that I took, which is an extension of my job, but during COVID, because again, like you're just trying to get by. I feel like UFB reached out to me. So I put on a series of talks for their staff on just like various health topics.
Oh, good.
So I did like contract work with UFB, just doing educational stuff.
Yeah.
So I did that during that time. But again, it was like you build yourself up to go down and then slowly built myself back up. But with COVID too and social media, that's where I started doing Instagram. So my personal Dr. Ciera Fox page, that's where like during COVID, because I had time, I was just doing tons of education on there.
Oh,
tons of education and just sharing knowledge because like I can, so why not? And then built a following in that way. And I would say that that's the reason why my career really I have the patient base that I do because that's when I started doing all that.
So when did we get out of COVID anyways? That was 2022, 3?
I feel like it started to really let up 2022 is where things kind of like opened up. You could fly, you know, I think that's when it did really start to release. We got back into office like a few months after, but again, it was like masks. Everyone was still super hesitant. So it wasn't the same. Our practices went from, we could deal with acute, upper respiratory tract infections, ear infections. Like you came in when you're acutely unwell to like stay home. Sign this consent form saying that you're not sick at all before coming in. So it actually changed the dynamics and like how or what we treated.
Okay. Mm-hmm. You're very well established here in the community now,
I would say.
So how does that feel? Like what's in store for you for the future? And like, there's still work to be done. I don't think you're settling.
Yeah. And I think that's a problem with me.
Oh, okay.
I can't. I never will. I'm like, okay, after this big project, I'm just going to like coast for a little bit. Okay. Like, I'm always doing the next thing, whether it's with my career or even my personal life, like, buy a cabin, renovate the cabin, do all like, open a clinic. There's always something big that I'm doing. The next thing, start a podcast.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the podcast. Let's go from there because this is interesting. I met you guys because we play this game squash, and I've mentioned on the podcast it's not a vegetable. Just getting that clear out.
Gosh.
Google it.
You should tell the story how we first met before we really met.
Sure, really quick. We were at the squash courts. I think it was Amanda's first time ever playing squash, and she had this terrible racket, the rental. Yeah. The grip was terrible, the strings, whatever. And I had an old racket, and it just had a crack on it. It wasn't a big deal. And I just said, hey, well, here's a racket. And she was very appreciative, like overly appreciative, like, wow.
Now you know great. Amanda, though, and how she reacts to things.
100%. She was and I was very like, oh, she really likes it. I mean, I'm glad I could do that for somebody. You know what I mean? Like, I want to get her another racket now. It's like, when you give kids a present and at Christmas and they'll open it up. And if they're really excited, you're going, I want to get that kid another present. So kids, whoever's listening, when you get presents, act amazed and just astonished, even if you don't like it, because you'll keep getting presents. Okay,
that's a lesson.
Just a lesson right there. But she absolutely loved the racket. I didn't, and then I thought, I left an impression. She'll never forget me. And then and then a couple years later,
probably a year and a bit, later.
You just mentioned to what the club pro there, his name's Sean, talking about podcasts, and he just said, oh, just text AJ, he can help you, or Atlee. Yeah. Something about music, whatever, and then we had a conversation and just on a Zoom and just said, oh, I'll come over, we'll see what's going on. And then I walked in the door and I said, hey, do you guys remember me? Amanda, I gave you that racket. And she just like, oh my God.
That's you.
But it was interesting because I became this next level friend. It felt like for me, it was like, oh, there's someone helping my podcast. Now it's like, oh, you were nice to give me the racket. So I felt welcomed.
Yeah, like it was crazy. Yeah.
Just a small world. And it's kind of like now we're working together doing the podcast. So your podcast, Her Body and Mind, how did that come about? Because this is obviously your ADHD, just constantly doing things, but to take on this type of, and I think as you've done several episodes to this point, are you realizing like the work involved and it is fun though. It is fun. But how did it come about?
So as I noted, like Amanda and I, we worked together for the first 4 years of my career. We shared a wall, and that, I mean, we're best friends, so it's just cool, like having your best friend next door and just be like, hey, at lunch, whatever. but we spoke so much. She would, whether it's popping in quickly between her clients or what have you, but we were always like bouncing stuff off each other, talking about certain cases and, I'm going to refer this person to you. This is what's going on. What do you think about this? So we had a lot of cross talk, and we were able to really support patients in a way more holistic way.
Yeah.
Again, going back to naturopathic principles and treating the whole body. And I know, and she knew, it's like, you can't just have the mental health piece without the physical health piece, and everything works together. So we learned that very quickly, and we're a good team in that way. And then once we kind of went separate ways, we both left restorative health. We kind of lost that, although we still see each other all the time. And then we were talking about work like crazy, because now we're not at work talking with each other. So most of our outside work time was just talking about work, which naturally that's what we go towards.
When you guys were talking at work, were you guys having like epiphanies like that? Oh, this bring up something, and all of a sudden this would come in. This could be this. So that collaboration must have been pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And plus, for you, you're learning new things too, right? So that's got to be a
totally. And her learning things like, oh, like you can help this with PTSD and vice versa. Like there's just so much that you don't know, because we don't have each other's education. But through that talk, the world opens with like different ways to navigate and approach different health issues. And then too, our patients, like they loved it, because they're like, yeah, you guys, they'd have to sign a consent obviously for us to be able to share that information. But if they did, it was something that they really value and appreciate, because they're getting taken care of that way. Yeah.
And then we're lucky enough that you guys have decided to come together and have these conversations and record them and put them out there. Like I said, I've been learning a ton for sure. And you guys, like your chemistry together too, you guys have known each other forever. It's helpful. It's so it just flows. Yeah. It's just perfect, right? You're like, yeah, this is, I remember some people ask me like, oh, how's the podcast going? I go, oh, like they're best friends. Like when you have that chemistry connection and you can have those conversations, and then you get used to the microphones and the headphones. It's so much fun.
I would say that's the part. So talking about, you're like, are you guys having fun? Like I would say it was a push, like leading up to actually us launching all the things. And honestly, had he not come about, I don't even know if it would have ever happened, because we had no idea what we were getting ourselves into. We're like, oh, we're just going to sit on the couch and talk. So naive. You're not.
No, but you can do, you can, you can throw some stuff on internet, on the internet and in your socials and stuff, but it's the audio quality. And when but I've been learning a ton too, right? Because as we set this up and realize, okay, who's our audience? Okay, they're gonna be listening in the car. Okay, this is the audio. I think audio is number one always, right?
Yes.
And then how's the video gonna bring people here? So I've been learning a ton, and with your social media skills has been incredible, because I'm going, that is the hook. Let's do that hook and work that sentence, and we're just trying to figure out social media and what the algorithm's doing, and it's doing this and not doing that, but it's an interesting game.
Totally.
It really is.
And you can only learn by doing, as we've learned, right? Because it's like newer for you too. So it's like you have to go through it to know kind of. And though like you have these bits, the media, like you've done it, and I've done social media, but it's like a different platform, different intentions. And so you're just learning those bits. So we have some experience, but there's still so much that you have to navigate.
And especially with the content you're working with, you have to sort of like, okay, is this working for that, or this work? Yeah, it's hard to just, and every bit of content is so different. Like that's what's wild. So it is an ever-changing thing. I am excited about the podcast space though, because it gives you so much content to work with.
Totally.
As opposed to like if you're filming a documentary. So my background is I did a bunch of documentaries, and I started this podcast because I just love to talk to people. And I found with the documentaries, you could use their interviews and connect and weave and kind of bring this back and foreshadow. And it's like, this is so cool. And you have these moments editing where you just get these goosebumps and like mistakes. Oh my God, that works. And I was just with the podcast space, you're basically doing a interview for a documentary.
It's a mini documentary on that person.
100%.
Yes.
And you can just sort of sit here, but you have the content more readily available and quicker. So it's just way more fulfilling. It's not 3 years. Like we're not going to release this in 2030. It'll be done in a few months. So it's very rewarding that way, but it's been amazing.
Yes.
So now that you're on your path and you're doing really well, let's talk a little bit about the advice you would give your younger self, maybe.
My gosh. Yeah. Did I write an answer down? I don't know. I think I might have.
This is one thing you can sit on and think about.
Okay.
And then I want to talk to your future self.
Okay. So. I would probably take a more emotional approach to this. Actually, if I was thinking about what would I say to my younger self at that time, I would say you're worth it and you're enough. I think that's what I needed to hear back then, is like, that's really what I needed to figure out in order to gain the momentum and do the things that I have. So it's just really being like, you're enough, you're loved, you're cared for. And that piece isn't dictated by other people around you. And so, trying to find a way to get that teenager to understand that at that time. Yeah. So then the future could change. And a big part of that too is that, you might be at a certain phase, which at that time I wasn't attending school and I wasn't doing the things and et cetera. So you kind of feed your own cycles where you're doing the things that make you feel bad about yourself. Yeah. But a big theme too throughout my whole life and the people around me is that too, that you can change and people can change if you want to, and not feeling like you're stuck in this state or this, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I've changed a lot over my life in such positive ways. And other people I've seen, whether it's dealing with addiction or what have you, is that people can change and that you deserve a second chance and other people do too.
Did you find like in high school, if you weren't attending that much, were you did you ever come into your mind like, oh, the future, like if I don't go to school, I don't like, do you any fear in there at all?
Yes, there was. And so I should say this is grade 12. I like had it in my head. I was like, I'm going to try in grade 12. I don't really need to try in grade 11 because I knew you could get away with it. So why would I? Yeah. But like back in our day, they don't do this anymore, but you had to do like provincials. Yes. Was it like that for you too?
Yeah, for me too. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like English. And then if you wanted to go to university, you had to have a certain amount. Yeah. So I did English, geography, and history or something like that. So I pulled it together for those 3 courses. Okay. And that was that. So yeah, anyways.
It's pretty good. No, I see how you're
very strategic.
Very strategic. You're mapping out your own destiny. I love it. You're very dedicated. It's almost like ignorance is bliss sometimes. Like, let's just do it and figure it out later. Yeah. So your future self, what are you hopeful for the future, your career? Obviously your daughter's at the age where she's going to the next level of her career. Yeah. Is she looking at education, travel? Like, how are you navigating that maybe? I'm asking 5 questions in one sentence.
That's okay.
I apologize.
I'm used to that at least.
Yeah, we've been working together for a while. I try and always bring it back around somehow. But you're this point in your life here, what's the future for you?
Yeah, the future. I mean, I knew that this year, because it is my daughter, like I have only child, you have only child. Yeah. And so this year's big in that I knew that my intention for this year really had to focus on her and just like enjoy that and make it as special as I could and make sure that it was just like a really good time. So that's that. And also ensuring, like in my mind, I was like, by the age 18, I want her to be able to be independent and just kind of good. Yeah. And that happens in April. And I feel like we're there. So mission accomplished.
Oh, congrats. Yes. Yeah. Pat yourself on the back.
Yes.
Seriously.
Thank you.
Seriously. Parenting
is something. So if you get there and you're like, hey, full circle, like it worked. It all worked. So I think going forward, she's going to dip her toe in some university classes, but take a gap. Like she'll do 1 or 2 courses just to kind of feel it out. But I think she's good. She has a pass. She wants to be a kindergarten teacher. She's now working at Cultus Elementary doing after school care. So she's like setting herself up and figuring out, does that make sense for me? Should I do this? So she's actually, we have a plan for her. So I feel really confident in that. For myself, again, just opened a clinic, my own clinic a year ago, doing the podcast. And I think that I really, though I love my career and I love seeing patients and it's just an amazing thing to be able to do for people, I definitely just looking to be a bit more creative in my career. And that's where I think the podcast comes in, because in my day mentally my brain power and what I project in a day and all the tasks is so intense. And so trying to nurture a different side of me, which is like more creative and finding outlets that can work and still support
100%
myself. So again, like filling my bucket up a bit more, but still using the knowledge that I have. It like work-wise and naturopathic medicine and all that. So brilliant.
Brilliant. It's one of those. When I took university, I was full on sciences, and I know when I graduated, I was like, I need some arts. I need some sort of creative outlet, and found the balance. And then I just I kind of started love movies like every kid, and you just think, hey, I'm going to give it a go. I've got my career story. I haven't really said it. I don't know how I'm going to bring it up, but it's I had a moment where I just you kind of look in the mirror and you go, okay, what am I going to do? Yeah. Because I'm doing a job. This isn't a career job. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
What is it? And then you just have to find your passion. I saw a movie Braveheart. There was a scene in it made like every guy in the 90s. But anyways, I digress. But it was a moment. It was a big impactful moment.
Yes.
And it just made me want to chase something. Like
That's
go
awesome.
after it.
Totally.
And just see, you got the parents and friends were probably, well, maybe you should get a different job. I'm like, well, I don't know. And it was young enough and stupid enough that I had I didn't have a family or a mortgage. I'm like, this is the time to take the risk.
100%.
Like, so let's do this.
Yeah.
And so, and it's still a roller coaster. I'm still figuring stuff out.
Right.
So.
But you kind of circle back where you're like in your career, but you're like almost doing that again at this phase where we both are.
Yeah.
We both are. So that's what it is. And we're trying new things.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of when something kind of catches and it'll just naturally organically happen and take off. So I think we're both just in that phase where
it's a fun phase.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. It's unpredictable.
Yep.
It's I don't know if it's scary because I always find like as long as you're putting yourself out there and just doing it, and if you're sitting around waiting, you're screwed. Yeah. And it's just, that's anxiety, that's like uncertainty, that's fear. Totally. If you're out there putting it, you can really just feel, I don't know, you get a sense of just, you feel good.
Yes.
Right? A lot of work,
100%.
but you do feel good.
You do. It's different. It's not the kind of work where it's draining you. It's actually almost energizing you knowing that you're doing it. It's something different. So
preach on.
Yes.
You have no idea. I've lived in the corporate cultures and the different degrees of the checks and balances for creativity, and this doesn't work, that doesn't work. And then it can be very draining at times because you're like, oh, I just want to. So when you have something of your own, and I mean, if anyone's listening, I really recommend get something that's just your own. Could be painting, could be, it doesn't matter, watercolor, could be singing, doesn't matter, but it's yours.
Yes.
Right. And you only get feedback when you want it.
Yeah.
You go to the people, this is the feedback I want. And, and if people tell you something you don't want to hear it, just give them the middle finger. Because, hey,
simple solution.
They're not your clients, right?
Totally. That's awesome.
Well, Ciera, we're at the hour.
Yes.
This has been a lot of fun, and I think it could probably go on different angles. So I might have you back on when we get more specific into the careers, because as this podcast grows, there's so many different elements to help people maybe just understand themselves, their passions, how to make choices, things like that. AI, how's that working in our careers nowadays?
Totally.
That's a whole other topic too,
100%.
for sure. Or just really quickly, are you using AI at all in your practice?
Oh, I do. Honestly, like now, even with Fox and Fur, which is my personal clinic that I have, Fox and Fur Wellness Go, AI and coming up with captions, I feel bad because I've learned all this stuff about the energy it's draining and the water and all that. But it's not sustainable to have 5 social media accounts that you're running, you know what I mean, without using it in some sort of way or sourcing out and paying thousands of dollars a company. But now my daughter is actually doing the social media for Fox and Fur using AI, and she's 17. Like, what a skill to,
it is a skill,
right? Offer her. She's like, who knows when you're going to need it. So anyways,
absolutely. No, I agree. It does allow, and doesn't mean it's like do more work. It's just allows you to sort of get the ideas out, get them out there, have a conversation with your model. And then in the end, you're really you have to edit it and you have to figure out what's your voice, because it's not your voice.
No,
but for sure.
Totally.
So are you using it? What about in your practice, your medical practice? Are you finding it filtering in somehow?
Kind of. There's AI charting systems, but I haven't found, I've tried 2 and it's still just not specific enough for what we do anyways, because you're making individualized health plans. And so what we do is so individualized. It can listen to you and maybe write down your notes for you, but even then it throws out way too much detail. There's too much there. So then you're working to sift through and delete what it's put down. So I haven't found that it's efficient enough for me to want to do charting that way yet.
In my career, I find the same as well. There's certain areas where it does help workflow, but then it's also creating a new workflow.
Yes.
And you're like, well, I've already know this workflow. I'm getting the results that I'm pretty spot on that I need. This is going to take a lot more prompting to get there. Yeah. So I'm kind of finding this little balance for sure.
Totally.
But the writing and the copy and the ideas, getting it out and getting things started has been great.
Yeah.
But I think in the end, we all have to sort of take it across the finish line.
Yeah, totally.
Ciera, that was awesome. We could probably talk for a lot longer, and we're going to be talking on your podcast. In the description, I'll definitely collaborate with you guys and keep your podcast out there. I think it's an amazing thing. We'll talk to Amanda here shortly, but thanks so much for the conversation today on the OverArch Podcast.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for being our amazing producer.
My pleasure.
Okay.
Thanks, Ciera.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to OverArch, the People Podcast.